The Reliance Equity Opportunities Fund launched in March 2005. This mid and small cap fund received tremendous investor interest and managed to mop up over 2,000 crore rupees in assets under management soon after its launch. Even today, it's the third largest mid and small cap fund in our market, managing over 3,300 crore rupees in assets. Reliance Equity Opportunities is, well, an opportunity grabber. The fund can invest in both domestic companies and stocks listed outside of India. There is no mandated sector bias or any market capitalization tilt, which makes it flexible. It started off with a focus on large cap companies, but gradually moved to smaller companies, making it riskier when compared to other equity diversified funds. In terms of performance, the Reliance Equity Opportunities Fund started off on a strong note and became a top quartile performer in 2006. But in the 2 years that followed, it failed to impress investors and underperformed the Sensex and its benchmark. In 2007, when the market indices were at their peaks, the fund returned 47% against 60% by its benchmark. In 2008, it fell more than the market and indices benchmark, and the fund manager began to make up in the second half of 2009 when he generated an overwhelming return of 109% as against 81% by the Sensex. In 2010, it continued this trend, giving its investors double the return of the broader markets. So now let's take a look at some numbers. If you invested 1,000 rupees in this fund when it launched, you would have 3,655 rupees today. So should you take the risk of higher returns? We'll find out.
All right, Avan, thanks for that information. The Reliance Equity Opportunities seems like a really good performer if we pull it up over the last, say, 5 years to 7 years, where it's been a steady number 10 in terms of returns in its category. But I want you to compare it to maybe IDFC Premier Equity or ICICI Prudential Discovery or even Magnum Emerging Business that have done really well in comparison and are possibly better options. So comparing it to other funds within its category, do you still think it makes sense for investors to invest in this particular fund?
Yeah, this is an above average performer. It's not an outstanding performer of late. But if you look at, when this fund actually shines are the rising market, if you look at, the performance of 2007 or 2009 or 2010, when it was the best performing. So I think, this is a fund which is very venturesome. I think this fund has not succeeded in lean times, but good times, I think it is ahead of the pack. And anyway, this is a category of fund, the mid and small cap category, where one should be looking at it a little more actively. It's not a category, it's not a kind of fund which you invest and sleep over it and review your investment every 2-3 years.
Narendra, this is the third largest small and mid cap fund in the market, and that's really a characteristic of the fund house. But at 3,000 crore rupees under management, will it be nimble footed when that next bull run comes around?
No, that I think is a problem, because a problem for this kind of fund, because opportunity fund, a mid and small cap focused fund, and given its size, it will have to look for, it will be constrained to invest in larger bets.
And if someone came up to you today asking you to recommend a mid and small cap fund, is this the fund that you would recommend to them?
I don't mind recommending this fund. This is because here is a fund family, which is a fund house, which really does emphasize the kind of stocks, and this portfolio is often filled with that. And looking at the consistency of the performance, I think it's not a poor choice.
Finally, Narendra, your rating of the Reliance Equity Opportunities Fund, how many stars would you give it?
As on our risk-adjusted performance scale, I'll give it a 4-star worth investing.
4 stars there for the Reliance Equity Opportunities Fund.